Poor Jukebox. Jukebox cannot get a break, man. I swear. We'll get into it right after this. Raising Kanan, season 1, episode 7, entitled "Stay in Your Lane." You know, just stay in your lane. Just stay in your lane. Sorry, that's wilding out. Wrong show. But let's get into it. And let me give you a fair warning. Spoilers are ahead. So if you haven't saw the episode yet, go watch it. Pause this. Come back or save it for later. Come back. I'm giving you another warning. Spoilers. All right, let's dive headfirst into what it is. At the end, Jukebox's girlfriend, Nicole, passes away as a result of Kenan's stupidity. Oh, man. It's hard to believe that this is the Kanan Stark who beat up three guys that tried to break in his apartment and kill him, and he wound up killing all of them. The same Kanan who was going around just blowing niggas' brains out when he was with Kendrick Lamar. I'm like, yo, what is going on? Like, how the hell is this Kato fucking mama's boy the savage that we know down the line? It's nuts to think that, man. And yeah, apparently, you know, we know what he winds up becoming, and we wind up knowing what Jukebox becomes. But man, dude, discovering or experiencing heartbreak at that age, especially over something that kind of was a result of her cousin's fault and her fault. And that's what I want to know too in the comments. Whose fault was this that Nicole passed away? Was it Nicole's fault because obviously she stole that vial from Jukebox? Was it Jukebox's fault for getting the vial from Kanan and having it in her book bag, even though she was unbeknownst that her girlfriend was a little crackhead on the low? Or was it Kanan's fault for thinking he know what the fuck he doing, using that cut that probably was some rat poisoning and killing all these people? Kanan probably killed more people than the Oklahoma City bombing with this fucking batch that he made. Like, he just massacred a small group of crackheads. You got to realize that. He just massacred some crackheads, like 50 of them from this batch. Like, what the fuck? Man, let's give a moment of silence for Nicole and the Fiends, please. She will be missed, man. She was definitely I liked her character, man. I really like Nicole. And I liked her for Jukebox, and it was cool to see Jukebox happy. And I knew something was gonna happen. I didn't know what. I thought she was gonna get strung out like Melanie did in Snowfall, and then, you know, had to go through that whole thing because I don't know if the shit just super stepped on in New York, but they not getting highly addicted. But then again, this ain't when crack first came out. This is kind of like years later, and it's not as pure as the shit that Franklin's get. You gotta understand, Franklin gets shit right from the fucking Colombians or Dominican, wherever he get it from, and then they cook it into crack, but it's super pure. So this shit they get in the water in New York is already stepped on it probably a couple of times and yada yada yada. But anyway, well, if you didn't know, or if you didn't, you know, if you don't know, I'll bring it up. Episode starts off with how the fuck did this episode start off? I don't even remember. Anyway, I believe Kanan, his mom, and that little snitch, Davina, whatever her name is, they went up, I guess it was like a surprise dinner. So they wound up having dinner together, and then Kanan surprises Rock with Symphony, and you already know she walks out. And I get why Rock was upset, but to be upset and hold a grudge this long is like, dude, it's not that deep. You know what I'm saying? And she not looking at it from all angles. She looking at it from one way. And I think that all has to do with control. It was just something that she felt that wasn't in her control, so she don't like that. Rock need to be in control of everything. And he winds up coming out, running out, talking to her. They wind up making up. They go back inside, have a nice dinner. He even pays for the dinner, which I thought was pretty sweet. And then, you know, they all wind up walking together as a double date. And they go their separate ways. Symphony goes to blow Rock's back out. Had that good old makeup sex. You lucky motherfucker, you. And then Kanan winds up trying to go get some from Davina. And it was interesting, the conversation that they had. You know, they were joking around. He was calling them old. And I feel some type of way because I'm like, nigga, I'm the same age as your mom is right now on the show, nigga. Don't play with me. And then she was saying that she didn't want to have any grandbabies, so she was just telling them like, yo, nigga, make sure you strap up, which I thought was, yeah, that's good advice. Her and Symphony wind up kind of having a heart to heart. She apologizes, which I thought was dope because Rock don't seem like she apologizes for nothing. But this goes to show that she is really feeling the light skinned nigga. And kudos to him. Light skinned niggas is up. Kudos to him, man. He got him a baddie, and she got some bread. And also, Davina hears famous song. And it was something in her famous said about the shooting of her boyfriend prior to Kanan. And she brought it up, and she was like, yo, how did he know that? And Kanan tries to smooth it over, like, yo, he hears shit. But she ain't stupid. She know what's going on. And I think she been knew for a while. And she winds up telling them, like, yo, you ain't getting no punani. And plus, the neighbor comes over with the baby. He's still trying to simp and play stepdaddy or I don't know how that will work because that's not her kid. But I don't know. Anyway, she winds up kicking the nigga out, telling him he got to kick rocks. And I think right then and there he put together, like, maybe it was her that said something about where the stash spot was. You know what I'm saying? And, I think that'll come out later in the episode. Marvin is running a super sweet operation thanks to Kanan. They're doing the off the freeway, the Hidden Lake spot. You know, they got the white boys pulling up buying Snicker candy. Then they pull over to the gas station, get a candy back. And then that tells what they want. And then they hop on the expressway and get the fuck going. Marvin's raking in the money. He's smiling. He's having a good time. And, of course, Kanan fucks it up, as always. I'm like, whoa. The episode actually started with Rock leaving the hospital. That's where it started. She was leaving the hospital. I'm sorry. I watched it earlier. And she was talking to somebody on the phone. Or maybe she was talking to Kane. Somebody she told him, and she was like, yo, he good. So Scrappy wound up living, but they took his eye out and fucked him up real good. I'm like, damn, that's fucked up. But I thought for sure he was dead. But they wind up just taking his eye out, and they need retribution. So I think that's what she calls. She calls Lulu. Lulu's sitting in the car. I think he's watching Unique's, I think, like, right-hand man. I forget his name. He said his name earlier. It's like Rowell or something like that. Ronell, some shit like that. It don't matter. But he winds up following this nigga, and I'm like, oh, Lulu about to do him bad. Because Lulu don't miss. Lulu is very precise. And then Lulu missed. He follows the guy out. The guy is eating in fucking this girl's box like it's the Last Supper. And she was cute too. But he was going to town. And then Lulu, listen, don't use text always jam. Whenever I had a tech, I'm sorry. Whenever I watched anything that involved a tech, I'm sorry, I never had a tech. They always jam. But he goes in there and shoot the shit up. I don't know how this nigga miss. He misses. Tech jams. He unjams it. Nigga shut the door. Shoot the shit up. Nigga hit the window. Got the fuck out of Dodge. That nigga was running for his motherfucking life. I don't blame him. I would have did the same thing. He left Shorty in there, all that. I would do the same exact play. But I'm like, yo, I don't understand how Lulu fumbled that, though. Like, why would you bring just go in there with a short thing? You know what I'm saying? That's why, as a gun owner, I like revolvers. Because you ain't got to worry about jamming and all that shit. And they got the power, just as much power. But anyway, yeah, he wound up botching that. Damn, dude, I really can't believe he fucked that shit up, though. Like, I was really like, yo, what the fuck? Like, why? Like, how did you mess this up? How did you fumble this? Detective Howard goes to see Kanan. And he's trying to allude to the fact that he's his dad, and he tells him, like, yo, ask your mom about me. Ask your mom about me. And his partner like, yo, what do you see in this kid? Like, why you got? And he was like, yo, the children are our future. You got to start with them. Some lame shit he said. But I don't think Kenan caught on, but he's probably wondering like, yo, what the fuck is up with this dude? Because that's what I would be like, yo, this nigga weird as hell. Marvin has his guys in the fucking trap, and they're trying to step on some work, and Kanan winds up coming his raggedy ass in there, and he's like, yo, yeah, this is my idea, blah blah blah, trying to kind of like make it seem like this was his operation, which it was his brainchild, but Marvin is the one that put things in motion at the as a result of Kanan's idea. But it was Marvin did the shit, and Kanan's like, yo, I'm cooking this, and these two knuckleheads agree, and dude, he wind up making some concoction, and I looked at it, was beige brown. Back in the day when I watched movies from the past, beige brown was always the good stuff. So I'm like, oh, this some fire. They go out to the hood. They start giving out testers to everybody. And I'm like, okay, they about to get some fire. Like, Kanan about to come up. He about to earn some respect finally. He finally did something right. No. This dude, and I don't know if this was more so Kenan's fault. It probably was, because if they would have stretched it how they originally was going to stretch it, it might have not been as much put in there. But no, Kanan cooked it up because he thinks he's a fucking professional in the game, and he don't even, he's this kid. That's how kids are, though, man. Kids think they grown and they think they know everything instead of just being kids, man. And that's, at the end of the day, he botched everything and wind up massacring 50 to 100 crackheads. You see, the Fiends is in the spot smoking. His one man smoking. I'm like, yo, that's not good. He thinking it's like, oh, that's some fire. I'm about to, lights the shit up, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. Marvin winds up pulling up on Kanan, and he gets in the car, and Marvin skirted off before Kanan got his second leg in the door. He was so pissed off. He walks in there, and that was some good acting, boy. That scene when they was both in that trap, woo! Can we get a round of applause for that? That is some good acting. And that's what I like about this show. It has good acting. It's a lot of it. But Tina Miller is a Broadway actress. That's who plays Rock. The guy Symphony, I heard he studied film abroad, and I believe he ain't Scottish. He's like a Brit, like one of those. Them niggas know how to act for real. Marvin, same thing, good actor. Guy that plays Lulu, Malcolm May, great actor. Like, he came up under John Singleton, like, so he got firsthand experience, and he done made movies before. I just learned in the interview he did. So you got some prestigious act, and then Omar Epps. Omar Epps is an OG, and he been acting for years, since Juice, like with Tupac. So they got an amazing cast of actors. But in that trap scene, boy, woo! I was like, oh man, this is some good acting. Kanan was, you could tell I'm not gonna say he not built for it, but that shit spooked him. He's like, yo, we gotta tell mom. Marvin like, nigga, is you crazy? If you tell your mom, it's gonna be 2 more dead bodies, mine and yours. We don't say this shit. And I'm like, damn. He's like, yo, we burn the rest of the shit we got. He's like, and did we sell any to them white boys? He said, because if they find out we sold that shit to the white boys, nigga, they giving us an electric chair. And I'm like, yo, that's right. Them crackhead motherfuckers, they don't give a fuck about. But if they sold that shit to some college white boys, woo. And that makes me wonder what's going to happen now with Nicole, because it's going to come back to Jukebox. Well, she hangs with a black girl that lives in the projects. She must have got it from her. Where is she at? Run up in Jukebox's spot, Marvin's spot. Fine. This shit's going to have a trickle-down effect. I'm telling you. Kanan Stark is fucking everything up in his path. Be a fucking kid. But I mean, obviously we know what happens. But man, this is crazy. It was a scene in there where Rock goes to see old girl at the store. And she hooks her up with her cousin. I guess he's a connect, and they had a little exchange, and you could tell she has a lot of admiration for Rock, and I think Rock gonna wind up killing her husband for her. Just long story short, that's what it alluded to. She was like, "Yo, you did a favor for me. Now whenever you need a favor, I got you." I'm like, "Oh, they about to murk the husband." She winds up meeting with the connect. He cool as hell. Lulu goes. The connect's cousin or right hand man is in the music industry, and he heard Lulu's song or famous song, and know Lulu had some part in that, and he pounded him up like, "Yo, that's good shit." So that's even more alluding to Lulu is probably gonna wind up getting in the industry somehow, and that's dope. You know what I'm saying? Who knows what got inspired, because it's like the early '90s. We don't know you know what I mean? They could bring fucking Nas in there and say, "Nah, this our artist." Nah, just fabricate some shit up. Who knows? But I thought that was dope. He didn't give Rock a definite response as if he would fuck with her or not. He kind of did, but he kind of left her in the wind too. Like, I think he just want to fill her out a little bit more. And shit, she ain't nothing she can do or respect it. They running on fumes right now though. They don't really have any work. So I'm like, damn, this is crazy. Jukebox and old white girl wind up meeting up, and they was like snoodling and cuddling and being all fucking whatever all day. I'm like, look at these motherfuckers. But they're going to this dance. She's adamant that she wants Jukebox to go. Jukebox is trying to find a dress, and everything she's trying on is just like, it's not working, and it's not her. And I'm like, and I was thinking in my head, like, why don't she just wear a suit? Like, that's her role anyway. She not her role, but she tries to dress boyish all the time. Won't she just? And sure enough, that's what she wind up doing. They don't tell us at first, but they wind up hanging out in the park, and Nicole's trying to figure out what color dress she got, because I think she wants to coordinate with her. And it was a scene where they say they wanted a pretzel. Jukebox agrees to go get her one, and then she gives her a tape as well, like, "Yo, I made this for you. I want you to listen to it when you're getting ready." And then she gives Jukebox a card, and then she sees the vial that she got from Kanan. Now, I don't know what the fuck happened. Maybe I walked away. Maybe I dozed off because I'm an old nigga. Because I watched this late at night. When the fuck did she get the crack from Kanan? That's what I didn't see that part. But somehow she did, and she winds up taking it. And I'm like, yo, why would you steal from your girlfriend? Why don't you just be like, yo, let me get this joint? Like, oh, but I understand she probably didn't want her knowing she was doing this shit, but I'm like, ultimately, that caused her life, man. And it was sad because later on in the episode, they set up like a boy date for her, and they bought up Jukebox, and Nicole's mom is just like, "That girl did this to you. You're not really like that." And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with people? Like, that's how she is. But I know this is early 90s. This shit was a little more taboo back then. But she's like, that girl was a predator. She said, like, she forced herself into you. You're not really like this. And she was just like, and then she told her daughter, she was like, "Listen, it's prom. I know shit happened." Pretty much like, yo, if you want to bust it open, you can bust it open. And she like, what? She's like, what? She was like, just don't get pregnant. She was like, well, lesbians can't get pregnant. And she like, oh, you're not a lesbian. I'm like, yeah, she is. She's eaten box before on that bed. Yeah, she's trying to get her to come down and take pictures with dude, and she ain't even feeling that shit at all. She's not feeling that shit. And it's like fucking they're like begging on the door for like an hour and a half. Let's go back over because I'm skipping over shit. I'm glazing over shit. The scene in the restaurant. Oh man, this was another good acting. Shout out to Joey Badass too, man. He's another good one. I told y'all before. He's like I ain't gonna say my favorite, but he's one of definitely my favorite characters, man. He's a great actor, and I can't wait. That Wu-Tang Saga about to come back on. He's in that too. And my RGB light just went off, but we about to keep rocking. They go into a restaurant. Lulu goes to a spot, I guess where they go to get their sandwiches, and apparently this spot is a safe place. Nothing is supposed to happen or take place in this place. So Unique walks up behind Lulu, and he pays for his meal. And Lulu tells him like you know such and such, this is a safe spot. Can't nothing happen here. Blah blah blah. He like, yo, I just want to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? We had a conversation a couple of days ago. I want to continue that conversation. And they sit down and Lulu's like, man, my shit getting soggy. You mind? He's like, man, no, go ahead, eat, brother. I'm like, yo, this is good shit. Like, this is really like they was really like, you could tell Lulu was really like testing his gangster and shit. You know what I'm saying? And Joey Badass had the upper hand in the situation, but was just like, he very patient. You know what I'm saying? He thinks before he acts. He's not a reactor. And I think Lulu knows that. That's probably why he was testing his manhood a little bit. But it wasn't much said, but it was a lot said. You know what I'm saying? It was like the actions were speaking more than the words and shit. So he pretty much wants Lulu to side or be on his side because he knows who Lulu is. Lulu is a smart dude. He bought that action, and he also has the spirit to do other things besides hustling. Whereas his guys probably just do whatever he tell him to do. Lulu got his own brain and his own motivations for doing other things. And he's had to know though, like Lulu not about to fucking ride with you, dude. Like, look what you just did to Scrappy. And I'm surprised that didn't get brought up during the conversation. I thought he was gonna throw that in there, but apparently he didn't. And Lulu was just like, no, I could never do that. And he was like, oh, because Rock, that's family, right? He's like, no, because you's a bitch ass nigga, and I don't like bitch ass niggas. And he was like, and so is Eater over here. So she's like, nigga, that was you. Dude put out the gun, and fucking Unique stopped him. Like, I'm like, yo, this scene is good right here, dude. I went to that scene about 4 times. I'm like, yo, this is a good ass scene right here, man. And they wind up letting Lulu skate over here, but skate out of there. But they had the upper hand 100%. And he gave Lulu fair warning. He said, I'm gonna just say sorry now for what's about to come. And I'm like, phew. And they got the soldiers, man. I don't think Rock and them got the soldiers, man. Hey, I could be wrong, but I'm talking about as far as they have shown us. It don't seem like they got many soldiers. But it's about to get ugly out here in these streets. It's definitely about to get ugly. Kanan and Pat. No, before we jump over that, so Jukebox is getting ready for the dance. She got a suit. She looks good too, man. She looked nice in her suit, and she dancing, doing all kinds of shit you do when you're a kid and you get some new clothes and shit. She's super happy, and I'm like, yo, I love it though, like, cause I like Jukebox. I like her character, and the fact that she happy. You know what I mean? Like, she genuinely happy because she ain't always been happy. She even said she quit boosting because of old girl. You know what I'm saying? And like, she could tell she really in love with that girl. And that's sad, man. Anyway, Rock winds up walking in, and Jukebox got scared. And I like the fact Jukebox has so much fear and respect for her aunt. You know what I'm saying? Like, she, at the end of the day, she a tough kid. But that's how it used to be back in the day when certain adults came around. You had respect for adults. You had respect for your elders. And she straightened right up, and she's like, yo, just Kenan said it was all right. And Rock know what it is, but Rock just looking at her like she didn't shame her. She was supportive of her, and that's how you're supposed to be with any sibling, but more so your niece. You the auntie. It's not your job to try to do that, and especially she don't have the greatest relationship with her pops, so I think she looks at Rock more as probably like a mom figure than an actual aunt. And to see Rock be supportive of her, man, she's so good with her. And she good with her. I seen it on her Instagram too. She posted it. She was just like, yo, I love how Rock is with Kanan and Jukebox. Like, and I do too, man. And she was just like, Nicole's gonna be lucky. You know what I'm saying? And I think when they find out Nicole passed away, I'm pretty sure Rock's gonna, be in her corner and be super supportive. And we'll see what happens. But Kanan and his mom wind up having a conversation later. She tells her that Jukebox was over there, and she kind of knows something is going on, but she don't know. So she's asking little questions to see what Kanan says. And that's the thing about Rock. She already be knowing these answers, but she want to know what you gonna say. And she asked him something about like, I see you pay for dinner. Where'd you get the money from? And he was like, oh, I just been saving up, and then had Juke sell some clothes for me. And she like, what clothes? And he was like, I don't know. But then he changed the subject, like, yo, the detective came to see me again. And she's like, yo, fuck him. When you see him go the other way, don't trust none of them. And he see how emotional she got. So now he knows something is going on because she got super emotional about it. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to see where that plays out at. You ain't getting that damn bone marrow transplant, though. I bet you that, Detective Howard. I bet you that, sir. Flash forward to, the accident that happened with Nicole that we spoke on earlier. And listen, I'm pretty sure it's something I left out. But I talked about the main shit. And if I did leave it out, just post it in the comments. But we transfer over to the situation that happened with Nicole. She is listening to Jukebox's tape that she gave her on a little Walkman. And I always forget this is a timepiece. And I'm like, where the fuck she get that Walkman from? And then she fucking faints and passes out. And or just dies, pretty much. She just dies because it's rat poisoning. And it was sad, man. They hear the thump. Her mom comes running, but the door is locked. And I'm like, now you want to lock the door, nigga, when you don't need to have the door locked. But when you was eating boxing there with Jukebox, you had the door wide open. Dumbass. That was me. But yeah, it was sad though. Jukebox is waiting for it. She sees all the limos pulling up and she's excited, and then she just waits, and then she eventually sees no limousines come up, and it goes off, and I'm like, and then it's like 50 Cent was narrating at that one part in time, and it closed out so perfectly, man. This was a great episode, man. Let's get a round of applause. This episode was very good. I actually watched it twice. Yeah, I was very pleased with this episode, man. I watched the interview Malcolm Mays did with the Breakfast Club, and he said episode 8, which is next week's episode, and episode 10 are the best episodes of the season. He said 5, 8, and 10. And I don't believe 5. I remember 5. 5 wasn't that good, but maybe it was. I don't know. I gotta remember. But yeah, he said so, and I'm like, damn, it's gonna top this episode because I think this was a great episode. So he said 8 and 10 are the best episodes. So we'll see. Post your comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Until next time, peace, love, and prosperity. Did you like this episode? Post it in the comments below. Thanks.